Is the new Murano worth it? We got a 2025 Nissan Murano SV in Everett White over charcoal interior. The last refresh we had was back in 2019. We decreased 19 horsepower because we no longer have a V6 option, but they have swapped out the CVT for a 9-speed automatic transmission, giving us the VC-turbocharged 4-cylinder that's going to increase 20 pound-feet of torque. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to talk about some pros and cons that I have with the vehicle. I'll throw in a problem later on in the drive part of the review and compare this against the competition to see if this is really worth it. The front has that Aria look. So think of the electric variant, but gas-powered. Gloss black with the Murano print that integrates into full LED headlights in daytime running. The grille still has that V-motion grille, which is known for Nissan, and now the daytime runnings are kind of hidden inside it, similar to Hyundai. But I like the futuristic style and that it's gas variant, because the Aria I thought was awesome. I'm not a huge EV fan. I mean, let us know if you are. The lower gets the matte black, front and rear parking sensors with the 360-degree reverse camera starting on the SL. And all Muranos are powered by the 2-liter, 4-cylinder VC turbocharged engine that's producing 241 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, which changes the whole ball game for Nissan, because not a lot of people are happy with the electronic CVT transmission, and now the Murano, they don't even give it to you. 21 MPGs for the city, 27 MPGs for the highway. Now, one con that I have right off the bat, dropping the V6 to going to this 4-cylinder turbocharged. You're only really getting about 3 MPGs better for the city. You're actually losing 4 MPGs for the highway. Towing is maxed at 1,500 pounds. So when I'm thinking we need better MPGs, well, you're not really accomplishing that. It would have been better that they did a hybrid variant. 20-inch wheels is standard. These are upgraded 20-inch wheels, which gives a hefty price point of almost $1,200. 21-inch wheels goes into the platinum trim, but realistically, I think 20 fits the segment for this. The Aria comes into play with the chrome line that goes all the way into the rear. Gloss black on the top of the side view mirrors. You want the gloss black on the top of the side view mirrors. If you want the turn signals integrated, you go SL. If you want a power folding, you go platinum. The puddle lights with the logo of Nissan will start on the SL. Now, going back to competition to see if it's worth it. Toyota, you're gonna spend a lot more money to get something like this, especially with the luxury that's in the interior of it. Nissan makes one of the most soft vehicles for seating, and this year all rows for the first and second gets 0 gravity seats, which nobody does that. That is definitely class leading. So even talking about Honda, both two of them for a long journey, this is going to be better. Towing capacity, this is not going to be the best. MPGs, it's all right with it, but they're even throwing in Infinity components to make this what it is, which is kind of shocking for an Infinity owner. I've owned 3 Infinities now, and when I'm looking at the MSRP of this just being around 45 grand, and I'm seeing a lot of those features that's in this for that price, I paid nearly $70,000. Now, mine's a 3rd row. I didn't go to the QX50, and one reason why is because I didn't want the VC turbocharged 4-cylinder. The rear gets the LED taillights that spin across into the Nissan badging and cleaning it up. The windshield wiper for the rear, it's tucked underneath this lower roof spoiler. Unfortunately, they put matte black for the shark fin antenna. I wish that was gloss black. The lower gets the matte black, gloss black mixture, and the Murano print, so very similar to the Aria, which, like I said in most of my reviews for the Aria, I love that actual vehicle because you can get a lot of value, but then the range, it's not so good. Now you have a gas variant, but my problem that comes into play is it's the VC turbocharged 4-cylinder instead of the V6. And the reason why is because there's a multi-link system. It's kind of complex. The piston will move in different directions depending on driving conditions, allowing the variable compression ratio to adjust, which will go to a high compression for efficiency at low loads, for power under acceleration, and For me, I just like naturally aspirated V6. I don't like CVTs because you have to ultimately do more services, typically every 30,000 miles. They can last. I know people say they will not, but a lot of that is because people don't service them. And when you're going into a VC turbocharged 4-cylinder, it's just very complex. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. Otherwise, this is a home run for Nissan, giving us the Aria in a gas variant. Power liftgate up 4.1 cubic feet over the prior at 32.9 cubic feet. 2 storage cubbies on the side, bag holders. And underneath the floor, the number one question that's always asked, it has a spare tire. Split fold the rear bench by pulling the levers in the back. Sometimes they'll slide down, sometimes they don't. But now you get to see what it looks like if they don't. That's going to max cargo to 63.5 cubic feet. That's going to lower by 1.5 cubic feet over the prior gen. Key fob to the refresh Murano. 10-way power seat adjustment for the front, leatherette seats. Leather semi-aniline appointed seats will be on the Platinum with the quilted inlays. Heated seats is standard, ventilated on the Platinum. Memory starts on the SL. Check out that refresh that we've been waiting for. Very Aria looking. Let's fire it up. And listen to the car when it turns off. Giving a touch of infinity inside a Nissan. 10 speakers through Bose will be on the SL. The dashboard circles into the door panel, and 2 12.3-inch screens is standard. With wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Let me turn this off. Dual climate control settings, and you'll have the haptic for your climate control here, which takes forever. See? So I would just recommend using the climate control here. It's a little bit quicker unless you just need to do it on the fly. Murano badging in the gloss black. I like the two-tone and the way they have done the dashboard. Excellent job taking a lot of the Aria, putting it into the Murano, giving a lot more luxury. We've been waiting for this. The wood inlays go into that touchpad. Wireless charging pad is standard. 2 USB-C ports, push to put it into gear. Driving mode select, which we have a total of 3 different driving modes. This is also a fully configurable gauge cluster that can go through an array of different content for the driver. And a multi-function steering wheel, leatherette, tailored 2-spoke with the paddle shifts. 9-speed automatic transmission. I don't mind having paddle shifts. It's heated. Storage here, cup holders, all gloss black. I don't know, let me know your feelings on that. A large pass-through, which is always a plus. This is soft to touch. It opens up into a pretty deep storage pocket. You have an area that you can put some cards. With Nissan Connect, it is somewhat of a driver-focused setup, as you can see the wall, but it's not bad for the climate control, and everything is still usable for the passenger. Zero gravity seats, so that makes it a lot more comfortable. And you can also get a 360-degree reverse camera. Unfortunately, with the SV, it's only a reverse camera. The trajectory does expand, and I like how it covers the whole screen, because typically with this, it doesn't cover the whole screen. Check out the leg space that you have, as well as headroom. Pano moonroof starts on the SL. Door panel and dash, the contrast stitch goes right into it. Soft materials pretty much everywhere. One touch up and down for all the windows. A long, deep storage pocket. You could probably fit about a 32-ounce Yeti in this cup holder. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the cup holders and armrest down. Door panel is going to be stripped of some of the material, but it still has some of that leatherette that's going to boast through it in a deep, long storage pocket. No storage behind the driver's seat, but you'll get it in the passenger seat. These seats also sit upwards. Leg space, you're going to have plenty of it. The same thing with headroom. They do a great job carving that out. Air vents, 2 USB-C ports. It's a flat floor more or less, so sliding into the center is not going to be an issue. But you do sit up a lot higher here. Butt, leg, and shoulder space is not going to be an issue. But you can see what I mean by your legs sitting up, and even if you move it, it's not going to make too much of a difference. Headroom, though, is taken care of. 241 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Increase of 20 pound-feet of torque, decrease of 19 horsepower, V6 to VC turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now, I am a huge fan of naturally aspirated vehicles because they last forever. That's why I've had 3 Infinitis. The VC turbocharged engine, I'm still a little bit skeptical of because the first gen that came from the QX50, they had some issues, even though they tested it for over 500,000 miles and it was years in the making and millions to millions of dollars. Shrapnel just built up in the engine and basically locked it up, so it became bad and you would have to replace it. It's quite expensive. So that's why I'm skeptical about this particular engine. But what you get out of it is either great MPGs similar to a 4-cylinder diesel, or you'll get MPGs to a naturally aspirated V6 whenever you are mashing on the gas. So that's where the variable compression ratio comes into play. Pairing it to a 9-speed automatic transmission, that's more bulletproof than the CVT transmission, even though I had 2 of them and none of them ever gave me a problem, but I would have to service the darn thing every 30,000 miles, which is a huge con to me because it costs around $300 in order to do this. And I know this vehicle's not meant to be on the track, but it's good to see the performance. Let's see how it is in sport mode. Tire happy. The suspension holds itself well though. We hit a few bumps with these 20-inch wheels. It didn't really feel a lot of vibrations coming into the cabin. Zero gravity seats, which is amazing because Infiniti doesn't even give them to you in the rear. You're getting it both in the front and the rear. It's sealed up pretty good too. The sound deadening, I think they did an excellent job. The Murano was always known to be that luxury upscale SUV from Nissan. So I'm happy that they've taken bits from the Aria and Infiniti, mixed it in. But for me, I'm a little disappointed because I own an Infiniti and I'm seeing that I paid a lot more money to get something that I could have got in the Murano. Maneuverability isn't an issue. The steering has some weight to it. I like the leatherette steering wheel. It actually feels nice and soft. The 2-spoke, I feel this is going to get a little outdated, but I get what they're doing with the concept because it kind of looks a lot more upscale. I just prefer a 3-spoke myself. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros, we have been waiting since 2019. Like, it's been a long time, almost 6 years since we got our last refresh. And what they have done is awesome. I mean, a lot of pros go into play here because this is a base trim. You're getting 2 digital readers, wireless charging pad, a total of 4 USB-C ports. Braking on the vehicle, this is hard braking now. It doesn't feel heavy either. So that is good. Whenever you mash on the gas in sport or mash on the brake, it doesn't feel heavy. We're gonna put it into normal to see if it changes, which typically it does. I like that we get the haptic for the dual climate control settings that is integrated into the wood inlays. And you still have some physical buttons above it for the infotainment screen. Some cons, you have to go up trim base in order to get what this vehicle is about, in which it pushes you around a 50 grand price point. You already know the engine is a con for me, and it does feel a lot heavier whenever you are putting it into normal. So I would hate to say leave it into sport mode so that way the RPM will kind of go to a higher RPM, but then it doesn't like to change gears as much. So you may have to play with this. Visibility is good. Soft materials everywhere too. I mean, this is such a comfortable driving vehicle. When I'm thinking about competition in its class, this is something that I can drive all over North America. I'm not gonna worry about putting miles on it. You have plenty of storage cubbies, plenty of charging ports, and this is on a base tier. It's hard to find things that are cons in the new Murano because they did such a good job giving components out of the Aria and Infiniti mixed in at a discounted price. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank our friends here at Brandon Nissan for giving us this all-new 2025 Nissan Murano S for our car review.